Hey everyone, and welcome to the Defining Your Life podcast, where we focus on living in our purpose, practicing presence, and activating our power in each moment. I'm Marsha Rell, your resident pep talk provider, and I invite you to join me as we continue to learn, lift each other up, and strive to level up together. Because we are never finished defining our lives, and it takes a village, so let's build one. Stay tuned for the episode. Hey everyone, I hope that your week is going well and that you have been able to tap into your vulnerability a bit more. As I mentioned last week, I am definitely a work in progress in this area. In fact, something came up over the weekend and I found myself engaged in a conversation with my husband about my own vulnerability. Can anyone say timely? Coincidence? I think not. But he challenged me, and I recognized my behavior immediately, as well as my unfair response to him, not based on anything he actually did, but my internal struggle in this area. We always want growth to happen so quickly. Why can't an issue be resolved as soon as we recognize it? I mean, really, I should be evolved by now. But clearly, God was giving me a friendly reminder that healing, change, and growth is a process, and it takes time. If you've been engaged in the same behavioral patterns for years on end, chances are you aren't going to fully recover by tomorrow just because you realize you're doing a thing. That's why the journey and the milestones that we meet along the way are so important. The milestones show us just how far we've come. They show us that we're on the right track and give us something to strive for as we keep going. Because this is life, and it's never perfect or solved. But what's important is that we keep going, we keep trying, we keep improving, and slowly but surely we get to the point where we can look back and proudly say, I overcame that, finally. And I am looking forward to that. If you have made any strides this week or had an aha moment centered around vulnerability, I'd love to hear about it. Some of you have already reached out, and I thank you so much for being vulnerable enough to share your stories. I would absolutely count that as progress, and I am privileged that you shared with me. Now, today, as we continue in our Power series, I would like to speak to something that has a strong connection to vulnerability and is very important to me, and that is the power of friendship. Have you ever taken a moment to really think about friendship, what it means, and in what ways it contributes to your life? Over the last decade, I would say, I have really come to understand and appreciate the value of friendship on a much deeper level. Friendship is a training ground for all other relationships in life. Though relationships with family are first, friendship is chosen and it's not automatic. So there's a different level of expectation in these relationships. Just like with romantic relationships, when it's fresh and new, you're intrigued and want to get to know more about the person. You might be creative with ideas for hanging out or generous with your time, etc. But what happens when you enter a new season in your friendship? Do you continue to do the work or do you let it fall by the wayside? I can say that for the most part, I have always had good, solid friendships. Now, during different periods of life, how I may have shown up or how a friend may have shown up in the relationship could from time to time be questionable. But I am blessed to say that most were able to withstand the test of time and result in even stronger bonds. I'd say once we all started to experience, true life-changing events as a result of being grown up, the friendships were solidified even further. But I have a couple of questions for y'all as I sit back and reflect. Do you take your friends for granted? Would you consider yourself a good friend? Do you show up for your friends the way that you would like them to show up for you? If you've listened to the podcast since the beginning, I'm going to remind you about the Garden of Life. Friendships are some of the beautiful produce that need to be tended to in your garden. True friendships are not disposable, and they must be treated with care. So here's my key friendship list, I'll call it. In some way, shape, or form, I believe that you should be getting and giving the following in a great friendship. Love. That's the root. Your friends should know that you love them, and you should know you are loved by your friends. Support. In hard times and in good times. Are you supporting and being supported in the way that is needed? Honesty and trust. That goes without explanation. Be honest and be someone that can be trusted. Accountability. If we are all striving to improve, we need someone that's going to hold our feet to the fire and not just be passive or co-sign on everything we say or do. Encouragement. When a little extra push is necessary. Or maybe you just want to tell your friend how poppin' they are on a whim. A listening ear. Everyone needs to be heard. We need to be able to be vulnerable with our feelings, and sometimes that simply requires someone to listen. Fun, because we need to be able to let our hair down and get loose. And last but not least, forgiveness, because not one is perfect. And we all mess up sometimes. Often, I think we take for granted and underestimate how much value there is in a quality friendship. Like different perspectives. There's more than one way to look at anything. You need those different perspectives to help you expand your mind and understand different points of view. Excitement and challenge is another. You may not be adventurous, but a friend can introduce you to something you would have never tried, and the fear factor may be reduced because you have someone to do it with. I can certainly attest to that. Having a strong network and resources. We all need stuff, a contractor, an accountant, a therapist, whatever. But because of friends, you can enlarge your network even more. Did I mention reasons to celebrate? Celebrations bring joy, and it should feel good to celebrate your friends. One friend doesn't need to fulfill all your friendship needs. That likely borders on impossible. But one friend may be great at one thing, while another is great at something else. Everyone brings value in their own way. So how are you doing in the friendship department? Are you getting these things in your friendships? Are you giving them? There's a season for everything, and it's not always about what you can get out of the relationship. Sometimes, and it shouldn't be all of the time now, but sometimes you are doing more of the giving because your friend may not have the capacity. And friendships take effort. It takes going out of your way, doing things when you don't necessarily feel like it, admitting when you're wrong. You do these things when you love someone. That's why love is the root. I mentioned in a previous episode that we place a lot of ownership on others to keep us uplifted, and that is most certainly the responsibility of a friend. But it's also important to be your own friend. We all have shortcomings when we handle our relationships with ourselves. So surely there will be shortcomings within a friendship. This doesn't make you or the friendship any less valuable, so don't give up easily. So, to sum it up, protect your friendships, invest in them, nurture them. Do not underestimate how impactful your circle is. Know whether a relationship in your life is truly aligned with you. If not, separate yourself. But for the relationships that you truly value, do the work, take action. Friendships don't develop themselves, okay? We have to get in there and do the work. Today, I'd like to leave you with a quote from Oprah Winfrey, and it goes like this. Lots of people want to ride with you in the limo, but what you want is someone who will take the bus with you when the limo breaks down. Are you taking the bus with your friends? Are they willing to take the bus with you? You may not speak every day, but are they there when you call them? I know that I can say that my friends are. To all of my friends, I love and value each one of you. Thank you for rocking with me, even when I may have fallen short. Sisterhood is amazing, and I'm so blessed to have a big tribe that shines. I'd love to hear your thoughts on friendship. What makes a good friend to you? Drop me a line or comment on IG so that we can continue the conversation. If you feel so compelled, shout your friend out and show them some love. And if what you've been hearing here is beneficial to you, please remember to review, subscribe, and share the podcast with a friend. I can't wait to chat again next week. Take care until then.